Hello, everybody, and welcome back to episode 11 of Calhoun Falls. Today, we are going to build another one of these office park little areas over up here in this area, like behind the hospital. And I'm going to use much smaller footprints, I think, for these large office buildings. I think I'm still going to use these large office buildings here, but I'm going to use much smaller footprints so they don't get as tall. And that should help us blend nicely in with these buildings over here and these buildings back here too, which of course aren't very tall. So I am going to also try to make it ordered along the grid system, and I think I'm going to use more longer buildings going out along, going from Manor Street inwards, because we've got that those few tram lines that go down there. And I might go ahead and put another tram stop in here just for that, even though there's already one right there. So that may not be necessary. Anyway, I'm gonna go put in the framework, and I'll see you then. And welcome back to Calhoun Falls. So I've gone ahead and built up this little district here, and it's not terribly large, but I also put in some parking buildings into it to help with that. So what I've done is I've built basically office buildings here on the sides, and then I have built along the street here some high-density business buildings and also some low-density business buildings, just a few, right? And what I've done to facilitate that is I've also put in some public transit. I put in a bus stop here and then another bus stop here. And so I now have a bus that goes from, this big terminal up, through here, and then to Thornton Peak. Connects to this tram over here, and then comes down along this Pleasant Street where our tram used to be. I realized that when I moved that tram line, I didn't replace it with the bus line. So I put up that bus line going like that, and that connects to our bus station down here. And what I've also done is I've upgraded our small bus station into a bigger bus station. So the bus traffic is flowing much more smoothly over here. And it also gives us more platforms, because we were also running out of platforms. So that was working well. And now we can also even put in some more bus routes here. So I think we're probably going to keep these three inner city bus routes going to this terminal for a while, just to have that be our main point. And those other three terminals on the quote-unquote intercity side, the red side, are probably going to go just to maybe different areas of the city or different external connections. For one thing, when I build this large train station, we're going to have a bus that goes there, and I think that large train station will be somewhere down in this area when we start to build out this bigger downtown area. And I want that to happen fairly soon. Maybe in a couple episodes we'll start doing that. And also what I was thinking is about building an airport to end off this episode. And we can build an airport in a lot of places. It takes up 2 tiles to build the airport. And I was honestly thinking about putting it like right here, right? Like right along this street and right in these couple of blocks here, and kind of nestle that in between this highway junction and Pleasant Street over here. So that would be well connected to these tram lines. It would be pretty close to downtown. So we could have a couple we wouldn't need to set up any buses from this airport to downtown. And that would also give our city more attractiveness, and it would increase our office efficiency, which, as we can see, our unemployment situation has gotten a little bit better. It was at like 6 or 8%, I think, and now it's gone down to about 4 or 5%. So that's good, and that's mainly because we put in all of those offices. So that employed some of our people. However, a lot of our people are still unemployed, and that is kind of because we have a fair amount of uneducated people still in the city, I feel. I guess I don't quite know where to find that. But the office buildings create really, educated, well-educated, and highly educated jobs, which is what we want. So, one thing we need is just more of those workplaces, but what we also have is a lot of industrial demand in here, actually. So we have a lot more regular labor availability than high-skill labor availability. So that is increasing our industrial demand. So that's another thing that I wanted to do, is encourage people to go more into college and university to increase the demand in that. So when this says university education, I don't believe that includes the college, right? So another thing that I want to do is to build a university in here. Not in this area, in that larger area when we build that intercity train terminal. And that would either be a medical university or a technical university. And I think we would do the technical university first. It's not that large, so it should be pretty easy to go in there. We could actually build it in this area, but I don't really think I want to put that right here. I think I'd like our universities to be, somewhere else over nearer to this larger downtown area and that train station, so we can quickly have people come on a train from there to there. Our college is also doing pretty well. I renamed it to Calhoun College, and I upgraded it with the extension wings, and it is half full. So we have 6,000 people roughly enrolled in our college. So that's really good. I think that's really good. So what I think I'm going to do, and also on the airport, I don't actually think I've built one of these small airports before. I usually just go straight to this international airport because it gives, more attractiveness, more demand for software, and also plus 10% interest in university level education. And it has train platforms and bus platforms and whatnot. So I don't really think that we need the train platform. I don't think we need an international airport right here because our train platforms they're already right there. So I think just getting away with a small airport on the other side of this highway, and to kind of really say this is the border for our downtown area, and try to then transition into a low density suburb area up above it, is, I think, a good option that I would like to go with. So I'm going to buy some of these tiles, and I'm going to place down that airport, and we'll cut back into that. Okay, quick little update here. I've plopped down in the airport, and because our terrain is slanty, the airport, all the ploppables going totally flat. And I upgraded this airport. It has 3 upgrades: airport services, a cargo terminal, and a business lounge. So I didn't know this out at a cargo terminal, which is actually really cool because the international airport does not have a cargo terminal associated with it that can handle cargo rail tracks. So that's super cool. But now I can hook this up to our rail system, and that can just go straight to our hub really quickly here. And so I think that will work very well. And that's a good thing. So what I will need to do is I had to demolish those elevated train tracks that we put that with, and I think it would probably be best if those train tracks just went underground, possibly under the airport, and then maybe they'd have to come up somewhere over here. So I am going to go ahead and fix those cargo rail tracks. And I initially was going to put them along, Mistwood Street or something like that to be able to give this track some more room to come up here and connect into that. And so I might do that, and I might go ahead and put them along Mistwood Street for here. However, the problem with this is because it's flat, the flight cone the takeoff cone that the airport puts up is, like this in a somewhat inconvenient way. So that kind of prohibits us from zoning and building a lot of roads in this area under the takeoff cone. Because the ground slopes up too much, we can't actually build roads under that cone. So for this area, we will, I believe, need to do something different to be able to put in probably a bunch of low-density offices behind here, maybe even some industrial area, depending on the wind. And I think the wind's actually pretty strong, so we're not going to put industrial area. We'd probably put some low-density office park back in this area, or maybe some bus terminals or something. If we could, anyway, some kind of low-density, like, non-populated area can go back here. Maybe even this would be a decent space for a rail yard if... well, it is large enough to do that. So, anyway, I will stop contemplating and I will do some things with this area. I think it would actually be a pretty good spot for our rail yard if we wanted to move that. So I might go ahead and do that. Anyway, so I'll make some of these changes and I'll be right back. Okay, so I've gotten that train route set up. What I did for the train is I moved this, and this is the train tracks yard, the train yard. So I just moved that and hooked it back up. I kept the same connection to the rest of the track because I didn't want to mess up anything with the passenger rail and the cargo rail because it connects to both. And then I moved the cargo rail track so that they come on Edge Hill Street like they did, and then turn off and go underground. And they go underground underneath the airport because then they come out here onto the same Edgewater Street that they did before. They come out from under the airport and connect up to those tracks that takes it to the hub. And then also we have a different set of tracks going from the hub, splitting off at that Edge Hill, Edgewater Street junction, and going into the airport's cargo terminal. So that's been working pretty well. That's a pretty short train line just from the hub to the airport, but it will eliminate the need for trucks going from here to here, and it also allows it to connect to the rest of our cargo network seamlessly through that hub. So that's fine. And it actually gives you two cargo train terminals, right? So you can put as many cargo trains routes as you want through this. So if you wanted to, we could actually use this airport as our cargo hub. And that might be a good idea. That can be a good idea if you want to do that. It's kind of built in like that for you. But with the actual cargo train station, you get a lot of warehouse space, and you can add more storage warehouses to it if you want to. So this one, with one storage warehouse, gives us 25,000 tons of cargo space, and our airport only gives us about 8,000 tons. So that's not a ton, and that's basically one storage warehouse worth of upgrade cargo capacity. Which is a lot more space efficient than, building a whole new airport. And our hub here has, 2,600 tons of cargo in it, and it's going to be bringing more because it put a lot into the airport, and our airport also has about that much cargo space. I guess another thing I want to do with the city now that we have this airport is to build more industry, but I think that'll be for another episode. Because I've actually set up 3 cargo air routes here, because we've got 3 air connections available. This one to Pagedale, which is green. This one to Stratford, which is red-ish. And this one to Bytham, which I've made blue. So those are working decently well. They're not carrying any cargo at the moment, except for Stratford, which is carrying a lot of cargo from maybe importing it from Stratford, we will see. Yeah, it's importing cargo from Stratford. So I think a lot of these things, it's either going to be, 0 or 100% usage, right? We're importing stone and pharmaceuticals from Pagedale, and we're doing a lot like that. So the cargo airplanes don't have a ton of capacity, but they can help you connect. It's really just about getting more outside connections, I think, because really we are just importing a lot right now, and we're not exporting a ton. So in our production tab, which they're actually going to upgrade, they're going to update the production tab soon, which I am like super ready for, because this is like, it's basically incomprehensible for as how you could be, importing in the red and also exporting in the green. That made me think that we were both importing and exporting livestock, which just seems like a total mess. But this is a very uninformative diagram. Anyway, we are importing a lot more raw materials than we're exporting. However, we have a surplus of most material goods, and we have a surplus of all of our immaterial goods. So that's good. But you do import some and export some. So the whole economy system of production chains is like a little black boxed at the moment, which is why another reason why I'm very excited for them to update this tab, because that will reveal how much is being used for healthcare and deathcare, how much is being used for consumers, exactly how much is being imported versus processed, and how much total is being exported. Anyway, I'd love to have that information more readily available in the production tab. I guess the only thing we have a material deficit on is plastic, so we are definitely importing some plastic. But we can see we're mostly importing chickens and carrots, so we'll have to add more farming area to our city, I think. But anyway, I haven't also set up any of the passenger airlines yet, which is fine, because this doesn't... it should be bringing in and bringing out some people from our area. And I do want to set up, once I set up those passenger airlines, which I'll do and then I'll cut back from, is I will have to maybe make a bit more of a bus station here, or at least a little bit of a bus stop. I'm going to use this bus stop to connect the airport to probably both our downtown transit center here, and also to our intermodal bus station over here. So that'll be good. And that will happen right about here. So that's why I was thinking we might need another small bus station in this area to facilitate that. And so I actually think that will be maybe a little necessary, because this... I'm going to put that down there. I'm going to put that one down there. And hopefully that'll work pretty well. I've learned from my mistakes, and so I'm not going to put it right in the middle there, because otherwise the buses will not quite be doing what we want. And it says we have a dead end here, or no car access. So I'm going to go ahead and do this. I'm going to get this done, and we're going to be right back. So our bus terminal has been set up, and it's working pretty well, but I wanted to cut back on this airplane just to show that we are actually starting to export electronics by air, which electronics are the things that we have the most surplus of. So it's good that we're exporting a bunch of this stuff by air. And this cargo plane is going to Pagedale, and doesn't have a very high takeoff speed apparently, but nonetheless. And we also are handling a good amount of people on our passenger aircraft as well. So I set all these ticket prices on the passenger aircraft to free, because hopefully that will allow us to be able to import and export people more easily, as including homeless people. or people who don't want to be in the city anymore, or who can't find a job, etc. So this is the bus terminal that I made down here, and I think it looks alright. And so I've set up 2 bus routes. One is this red line, which goes to the Primrose End Intermodal Station way over there. And the other is this electric bus here, which just goes to the downtown bus station, which is right over here. We know where that's at, this one, this RC Intermodal Station. So I put that there, and this station is starting to have a good number of people in it, which is good, and it's almost full. So it looks like, I believe that we can have, actually it is full, we can have no more bus lines connecting to empty terminals in this one, but that's okay because we built these other ones over here along the side of the road to compensate for that. So we might have to start dipping into those soon, and we already have a little bit, but what we did with these lines, remember, is these were just lines that really went back and forth on Bayberry Street and then went somewhere else. So these just looped around, passed, and came back. So those aren't that big of a deal. And I wanted to keep all of the ones where it was point-to-point routes, you know, here to there, in that bus terminal. So that's been going well. And our college is still doing pretty well, so that's a good thing. And I also went ahead and I zoned in a bunch of low-density offices in this area near the airport, because I do want to keep our rail yard here. We have 8 more vehicles that we can dip into, but after that, you know, if we have more cargo trains or whatever, we might want another rail yard. And I think that back here, just near the other, straight behind the other rail yard, would be a good place for that. So I'm going to try and keep this space mostly empty for now. And this space, I've determined that I pretty much can't zone anything into there, so I might try to reconnect up Cypress Street and then just put in a bunch of trees here. Anyhow. But yeah, our city has been going pretty well, and this area looks good. So I think in the next episode, what I would like to do, because we still have a good few unemployed people, about 4%, which is not great, but I think that I want to expand our industrial area and try to get some more of that specialized industry up and running. Because on our pollution here, we can pretty much take this whole district and make it all industrial. And honestly, I think I want to expand that out to this street here, this Honeybrook Street. I think I want pretty much all of this to be an industrial part of the city, and all be served by this cargo terminal. And then what we can do with this area over here is to make that more, you know, medium density residential like we did with Thornton Peak. I think the row houses are going to be pretty good here on this other side of the highway. So in expanding the industrial area is going to be the plan for next time. But for now, I'll just leave us off on the view of our new airport. Thanks for watching episode 11 of Calhoun Falls. Stay tuned for the next one. Bye!